Delete them pictures off of Facebook. Take my kids off of Facebook. We don't want nothing to do with you, because when I found out about my brothers and you denied my brothers to me, and when I found out about my brothers and you told me that they weren't your kids, I can look at Maurice right now and see me and Maurice look alike.
Mr. Morris claims that he only fathered one of the defendant's twins and not the other. Ms. Thorpe, the defendant, claimed that his claim was ridiculous and that the results would clear up all the doubt that existed. This was how the case began in the courtroom.
Mr. Morris, you're here because you say certain facts have come to light that make you believe that you fathered one of Ms. Thorpe's twins and not the other. You claim a botched home DNA test separated you from your daughter, London, and you intend to rectify that issue today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Morris here is actually claiming that he is the father of just one of the two girls. Does that even make any sense? How do you father one child out of a pair of twins? Damn.
Originally, I was believed that both of them was mine. Over time, certain circumstances made me feel like neither were mine. And then after that, different things happened that made me believe just London was.
We've examined this issue completely in this courtroom, and we do know it's possible for a man to be the father of one of two fraternal twins.
Their relationship didn't particularly start off as the typical Sleeping Beauty and Princess Charming kind of sirery. There were loopholes, trust me, and Ms. Thorpe didn't waste any time in stating them without hesitation.
Before anything, we were friends, so I don't even understand why he's even putting me through this. I told Antoine that I wanted to be in a relationship with him, and he turned me down because he was still in love with the mother of his other child. So when that time happened, I got upset and I started messing with another guy.
Okay, and this was after you were already intimate with Mr. Morris?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now Ms. Thorpe finds out she's pregnant, and of course she tells Mr. Morris. Is he happy about it? Well, he sure is, and he seems like the happiest man in the world. But all good things don't last now, do they? We are definitely going to find out if this is one of those situations.
I was ecstatic. I was very, very happy. Like I went all out. I bought two of everything. It cost a lot. It was bassinets here, strollers there, car seats. Moved her into a family member house during her pregnancy. Try to make her as comfortable as possible. She hungry every day.
In no time, the sweet baby daddy turned into the doubtful baby daddy. He starts asking himself questions like, are they really mine? Should I get a DNA test done? What if she lied to me from the beginning? All shades of doubt start to settle in Mr. Morris's head.
All right, so you send the results in, and of course, how do they come back?
0% probability.
But you do understand that you didn't even use the swabs right.
I would just hope, I don't know. Like I said, so.
No, you don't.
I don't, I didn't.
The truth is you don't. You was making something up.
But everything was just confusing.
Now, finding out the twins aren't his, he texts his baby mama, being all angry and furious. When he doesn't get a reply from her, what does he do? He goes to social media and posts the news everywhere, saying he isn't the kid and his baby mama lied to him. Trust me, he's one crazy person.
No, Your Honor, I was at work at the time. He actually texted me and told me that the DNA test came back and that the twins were not his. At the time, I didn't respond automatically because, like I said, I was at work. So he ended up getting very upset and ended up posting it all over social media and telling everybody. He posted all over social media and told everybody that the DNA test came back and that the kids were not his.
The bombshells continue to drop and things start to blow out of proportion. Another surprise comes in. Mr. Morris wasn't the regular old Mr. Good Guy he was claiming to be. He got another woman pregnant. Oops, now that's a lot from him. Oh, trust me, Judge Lauren was about to lose her cool.
Asking around about how they was doing or what they was looking like. Family members and friends started to say, you sure they're not yours? And I had got sent a picture of my youngest daughter now, and it was side by side with London. I feel like they look just alike. They the same age.
Oh, you had two women pregnant at the same time?
Yes, ma'am.
The beautiful thing about this situation was the fact that Mr. Morris had an amazing relationship with the twins. He told the judge that even though he had doubts about one of them, he still treated them with so much love and care.
What kind of relationship do you have with the twins now?
Great.
They call you daddy?
No.
They're four.
They call me Uncle Twan.
Uncle Twan?
Yes.
Boy, you about crazy. You just got too much going on. You done gone through all this only for the children and now call you Uncle Twan?
I didn't tell them to.
Well, the suspense is finally over, and the hassle of who the dad of their child is about to be revealed. It's been a bumpy and funny ride with Mr. Morris and Ms. Thorpe. All eyes on the judge as she unleashes the truth. Get ready, because here come the DNA results.
Mr. Morris, you are not the father. In the case of Morris versus Thorpe, when it comes to 4-year-old London Morris. Mr. Morris, you are not the father.
There were two guys, Mr. Henry and Mr. Medley, and a lady, Ms. Johnson, who all claimed that the defendant, Mr. Medley Sr., was their biological father, and for some reason, he refused to be in their lives. Believe me, it was one of the most ridiculous cases to ever appear on paternity court. This was how the entire case began in the courtroom.
3 different adults with 2 different mothers brought the same defendant to court today in an effort to prove paternity. Mr. Herron and Mr. Medley, you are here to prove to Mr. Medley Sr. that you are indeed his sons.
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
say results of today's DNA test will force him to stop denying you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, the judge began by asking the two guys how their lives have been without having a father figure in them. The first guy, Mr. Herron, took the floor by telling the judge that it affected him in ways he could not imagine. He wanted to know why Mr. Medley Sr. decided to be absent from his life.
Please explain to the court how difficult your life has been without having a father.
It affected me in life. Want to know why he wasn't in my life? Why would you give me your full name as a junior? Why would you sign my birth certificate? If you deny me as your child, it hurts me like all get out.
Well, that explains why he doesn't believe the kids are his. Mr. Medley Sr. told the judge that when he found out Mr. Herron's mother was pregnant, so he decided to marry her, even though he had doubts about the pregnancy.
So in your statement to the court, you claim you went to your pastor once you learned she was pregnant.
Yes.
And what did your pastor tell you?
Do the right thing, make her an honorable woman.
So basically, you married her even though you had doubts.
Yes.
And then you also claim you heard from another band member.
Yes.
Wow, that's proof enough to make him doubt the paternity even more. Moving on, the boys went on to tell the judge that Mr. Medley Sr.'s mother always treated them like they were her grandkids. Even with all the denying that Mr. Medley Sr. was doing, she told them that he was their father.
The reason why I think he's denying me is because when his mother died in 2007, he was nowhere in our lives before then. His mom came down for Christmases,
birthdays,
birthday,
everything.
Gave us
and she
everything.
treated us like we was her grandkids.
When she
and she told us no matter what your daddy say, you guys are always gonna be my grandkids.
One thing is for sure though, these kids are very upset with Mr. Medley Sr. They felt betrayed that he did not want to be in their lives. Seeing that the kids were hurt, the judge decided to reveal the results from the DNA test regarding the two boys. This was her verdict.
Pertaining to whether Victor Medley Sr. is the biological father of Maurice Herron. It has been determined by this court, you are the father. To the results for Victor Medley Jr. Pertaining to whether Victor Medley Sr. is the biological father of Victor Medley Jr.
Well, Mr. Medley Sr. can't deny the boys any longer. They are both his kids. Moving on, Judge Lauren turned to the lady, Ms. Johnson, who also felt Mr. Medley Sr. was her father, and asked her how her childhood without a father was. This was her response.
I grew up in and out of foster care, but I had asked my mom, one day I was looking in my mirror when I was a teenager and I didn't look like her anymore. And I'm like, I don't know who I'm looking at. The stranger that I'm looking at in the mirror, I need to know. So I was like, Mom, this is enough. I just need to know what's the name of my dad. So she told me his name was Victor Medley.
Johnson. That has to be heartbreaking for Ms. Johnson. Hearing that shocking revelation from her mom, Mrs. Johnson decided to go on a hunt to find out who Mr. Medley Sr. was. She found him on Facebook and decided to send him a message, informing him of what her mother told her.
I'm like, okay, well, I can't contact him.
Did you ask her why?
Yes, I did. She told me that
It was a bad relationship.
No, there was no relationship. It was just a bad thing that happened between them two.
Okay.
So when I was 26, I finally found him. I set up a Facebook page and I finally found Victor Sr.
Could Mr. Medley Sr. be trying to change his story? Because it sure looks like he has a new story to tell. After Ms. Johnson was done giving her statement, Mr. Medley Sr. told the judge that she was the one who requested to get a DNA test done, and he had never denied the fact that she was his daughter.
And so, Mr. Medley Sr., you claim that it was her asking for a DNA test?
That's not true.
So you had accepted her,
Yes.
but you claim she wanted the DNA test?
Yes.
That's not true.
She got upset. Well, this is what happened. She was having problems with her van. and I had said that I would help her.
Ms. Johnson is pissed, all right. Anyway, after going back and forth with each other, Judge Lauren decided it was time to reveal the results and determine if Ms. Johnson was really Mr. Medley Sr.'s daughter.
Mr. Medley Sr., you are not her father.
Okay.
Mr. Medley, what are you feeling now?
I don't know. I thought she was my daughter.
Miss Johnson, if you didn't know before, somewhere underneath all of that tough exterior, he really cared.
Mr. Brown says he found a sex tape of his wife with another man, and now he's saying that he is 100% certain he isn't the father of her 11-month-old child, Amira. Ms. McKinney, who is also pregnant, is screaming that that's a lie, and that Mr. Brown must step up as he is definitely Amira's dad. Here is how she puts it.
Ms. McKinney, you are here to prove to your husband that he fathered your 11-month-old daughter, Amira. You testify that his paternity denial is tearing you apart. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, after finding a sex tape of your wife with another man, you now intend to prove he fathered Amira.
Well, we'll see about that. Mr. Brown, on the other hand, has no doubts that the DNA test results will come back negative. He also thinks that the man who starred in that video with his wife may be the child's father.
Because when she was born, she did not look like me. And I waited, I gave it time to see how she would look, and more every day that I look and take pictures with Amira, she has his face, and it bothers me a lot.
So you feel Amira looks like the man you saw on the sex tape with your wife?
Yes, I do.
Wait, did Mr. Brown just accuse his wife of incest? That's insane. But how did he even get this tape that caused all of this? And how did Ms. McKinney and this man act out such a tape?
The video came up, or you went looking to see what was in her phone?
I was scrolling through her pictures, whatever, and before they could even get to her, I grabbed the phone.
Ms. McKinney, how do you end up with another man doing a sex tape?
I mean, at the time, me and Mr. Brown was off and on.
How did you meet the other man?
I met him on a dating website. We started talking online, and then I finally met him in person, and he came to my house.
Sheesh. 10 times? Gosh, things are starting to look insane. And the man who's on the tape is in court today, and he doesn't mince words at all. It's straight to the point with this guy.
Mr. Brown found a sex tape of his wife and you in her phone. Is that true?
Yes.
What did she tell you about her relationship status when you first met her?
Well, when I first met Miss McKinley, we was talking on the dating site, and the day I met her, Mr. Brown was present, but they wasn't together.
I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like just 10 times. The real number is probably double that at the very least. Anyway, Ms. McKinney got pregnant, and here is what she told everyone.
Well, me and Miss McKinney met up, and she told me she was pregnant in June of 2017, summer.
Okay.
Yes.
What did she tell you exactly?
That she's pregnant and she's ready to give birth.
So who did she say the father was?
She didn't tell me.
I said it was complicated.
I believe it was complicated because, like I said,
I was back and forth for him and him.
That sex
back
tape?
and forth.
No, that math didn't add up at all. So, Ms. McKinney was acting out a tape on the day she gave birth? What? Really? At 9 months pregnant? That's insane. The funny thing is that before Ms. McKinney gave birth, Mr. Brown already knew that something fishy was going on. Here's how he puts it.
And then when you found out, did you say, oh, I'm so excited, or did you say, is this my child?
First, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm excited. And then when we went to the hospital back in September, they would say she was 11 weeks pregnant. And then when they told her the due date,
It was 12 weeks.
Yeah, 12 weeks. 12 weeks pregnant, actually. And then they told her the due date, whatever. When we went back again, they was like April 23rd, and I'm like,
okay, Mr. Spidey senses. You felt something you want right and decided to do something about it. Mr. Brown was present at the birth and made sure not to sign for the birth certificate even though he was legally married to Ms. McKinney. Once he saw the baby, he thought something was wrong, and he explained how in this long, crazy, almost schizophrenic rant.
yeah, when I looked at Amira, I said, hey, when I was born, I was pale. But wait, look at her lip. Why does her lip look so fat? That's not my lip. My lip does not look like that. Oh, no, it does not. So from that time in, I put it in my head, I'm like, wait, okay, if she's not mine, then she gotta be Mr. Jonathan's child, because she started looking more and more like him.
Wow, you can clearly see why Mr. Brown feels so strongly that this child isn't his. He has done a full scientific study on this stuff. He knows it in his heart, and there's nothing anyone can do to change his mind. And now, to blow your mind, guess what?
And not only that, she's pregnant with my child now. So it's like
You said now you're having another baby?
Yeah.
I may be the father, right?
No, that's my child.
But let me ask you, could you be the father?
No.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. So, do you believe you are Amira's father?
No, I do not.
When's the last time you were intimate with Miss McKinney?
2017 of April.
Oh, so it's scientifically improbable that this other fellow is the father. Does that mean that Mr. Brown could end up being the father after everything? That would be crazy. Let's see what the DNA test has to say about this.
Case of McKinney versus Brown. When it comes to 11-month-old Amira Brown, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Fowler, you are not the father.
Thank you. Thank you.
What just happened? So neither man fathered Amira. So who is the father then? There's a third man in the mix? If there's a third man, why didn't Ms. McKinney let us know? Well, there's nothing left for her to do but cry about her sorry fate.
Miss McKinney? Miss McKinney, are you okay? Jerome, help her. Jerome, help her. Jerome will help you up, Miss McKinney, and I want you to sit in the chair. Someone call the medic, please. Just take a seat, honey, and breathe.
This wasn't Ms. Cavanaugh's first time coming to the paternity court. She had been here before. Guess what? The initial reason that brought her here is the same damn reason that she's here again. This time around, she claimed that the father of her child was a good friend of her mother, and she intended to prove it by beginning like this.
Ms. Cavanaugh, you appeared in our courtroom previously and tested 2 men as potential fathers of your 1-month-old son, Malcolm.
Yes, Your Honor.
Unfortunately, neither turned out to be his biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, today, you believe Malcolm's biological father is a good friend of your mother's, the defendant, Mr. Spence.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Cavanaugh was no good girl. Trust me. She had been quite mischievous. This time around, she didn't just get intimate with any random guy. She got intimate with her mom's friend. She has some serious balls, trust me.
Yes, Your Honor. I know how bad it sounds. It is bad. I started calling him up, asking for like rides, to the grocery store, to get stuff from my house. And subconsciously, I was trying to try to seduce him. I was wearing inappropriate things around him.
And why were you doing this?
In all honesty, I was drinking a lot.
The things Ms. Cavanaugh said would make a priest want to go to confession. They were beyond this world, believe me. Mr. Spence, on the other hand, didn't sound convincing when defending himself. I mean, do you just randomly sleep with your friend's daughter? Hell no!
It was like she said, came over a couple of times. She was in inappropriate gear. The first time, I shunned it off. Second time, I said, hey, watch yourself. Third time, it's starting to look good. Fourth time, lapse in judgment, and here we are today.
Listening to everything that popped out of both, their mouths was really uncomfortable. But let's proceed, shall we? I mean, there was 1-month-old kid involved. These two really do need some counseling.
And now, we have Malcolm, 1 month old, and your mother's friend could be his biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So as you look at Malcolm, do you see Mr. Spence, any resemblance?
I see a little bit, but from being in court previously, I found out that you can't always go on looks at all.
Moving on. When Ms. Cavanaugh found out she was pregnant, Mr. Spencer's name did not pop up in her head as the potential father. Damn, apparently she wasn't just fooling around with him. I would definitely give her an ass whooping if she were my child.
It really was like, I thought Mr. Bowles was the dad. Well, after the court, I started thinking, well, he could be a possibility that Mr. Spence is the father. And I texted him and I asked him, when was the last time we had sex? He told me it was the end of October.
And when was Malcolm born?
He was born July 9th.
Ms. Cavanaugh's mom took the stand, and oh boy, did she have a lot to say about her daughter and her so-called friend. She said she noticed the eye contact they gave each other when they met. Deep down in her heart, she knew something was gonna go down.
Actually, when we were together, like all in the same room, I noticed them looking at each other a little differently.
You did?
Yeah, I knew my gut
woman's
told,
intuition.
Exactly. So I questioned each of them. They each denied that anything had happened. Then basically how I found out, one day Megan was angry with me and we had kind of a little tiff or whatever.
The courtroom was filled with nothing short of shock. The most insane revelations started to surface, and these two had a lot of explaining to do. Another epic blockbuster takes the stage. Mr. Spencer happens to be married. I knew this guy had some secrets. He was willing to be the father, but he sure had doubts.
So, Mr. Spence, let me ask you this. Are you in a relationship?
I'm married.
Okay. Now I do understand why you're hoping he's not your child.
That's not what I'm hoping.
Well, the suspense is finally over, and the hassle of who the dad of their child is about to be revealed. It's been a bumpy and funny ride with Mr. Spence and Ms. Cavanaugh. All eyes are on the judge as she unleashes the truth.
Mr. Spence, you are not his father.
It's okay.
Miss Cavanaugh, we back here again.
Yes, Your Honor.
I know this isn't where you wanted to be.
It's okay. I never wanted to be this person, Your Honor.